it's just unfortunate that, you know, I have to learn, I have to teach myself, I have to really make an effort to really fall in love with music again. And I think that a lot of people from the era have not been maybe as recognized as they should be, you know, by the industry and, you know, the people that
He had the voice, he had the look, and thanks to one legendary anthem, he had his moment. But Johnny Kemp's rise wasn't smooth, and his fall wasn't loud. It was quiet, complicated, and full of questions the industry never bothered to answer. This is the story of a man who gave the world a celebration soundtrack, only to be forgotten by the very system that cheered him on, until it didn't.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to say to your fans on NGS3?
Oh man, I just want to thank you guys for like hanging in there with the music and for digging the music and staying with.
Johnny's story wasn't your typical come-up. It had all the right ingredients: talent, hustle, and that one song that still gets people two-stepping at cookouts, but the industry never really knew what to do with him. He started out singing in church back in the Bahamas, then moved to Harlem and hit the ground running. By the time most kids were still figuring life out, he was fronting a band called Kinky Fox and tearing up live shows in New York. They weren't famous, but they had something real.
And it was definitely a very special time and a very special form that came out of Harlem in 1988. You know what I mean?
Eventually, he scored a solo deal, dropped a project, and let that voice do its thing. Smooth, emotional, with just enough grit to feel lived in. The song slapped, the production had that sparkly 80s bounce, and Johnny was clearly in his bag. But when it came time to actually push the album, crickets. Not because it wasn't good, but because the label couldn't make up their mind about how to sell him. He wasn't easy to pin down. Too pop for one lane, too R&B for another. He didn't fit into the industry's little marketing boxes, and that made him complicated. And labels don't like complicated. So instead of leaning into what made him different, they kinda just fumbled it. That mismatch between who Johnny was and who they wanted him to be followed him around like a shadow. One album in, and the dream was already slipping through the cracks, not because of talent, but because nobody knew how to package him. Funny thing, Johnny wasn't even supposed to have the song that made him a star. Just Got Paid was cooked up by Teddy and Gene for Keith. Yeah, Keith Sweat. But it never landed in his hands. Teddy, who was just getting started back then, was already flipping the sound of R&B on its head. That New Jack Swing blueprint? He was sketching it out in real time. Tight drums, bouncy synths, a little street, a little sparkle. It felt fresh, loud, digital, and very much like the future. Johnny was only called in to lay down a temp vocal, a placeholder, but the second he hit the booth, it stopped being a draft. Something about his delivery made it click. The groove, the joy, the little smirk in his tone. It didn't just sound good, it felt like payday, like sunshine on a Friday night with a fresh cut and money in your sock. The label caught the energy and moved quick. It was his now.
Hey ladies, and what about that hit Just Got Paid?
Oh, I wrote that with Teddy. That was actually supposed to go on my first album.
Wait a minute, really?
That accidental magic ended up on his next album, and it blew the doors open. The song didn't creep up the charts. It jumped. R&B stations, dance floors, even the pop crowd couldn't ignore it. Everyone knew the hook, even if they didn't know who was singing it. The track became bigger than him, one of those songs that walks into the room before the artist ever does. And just like that, Johnny turned into the soundtrack of the weekend, the paycheck drop anthem, and the industry finally paying attention. That song got him a Grammy nod, put him in the mix with the legends. He didn't take the trophy home, but he was in the same breath as Anita, Luther, Bobby. People knew his face now. He was on the guest list, in the magazine spreads, getting talked about in rooms that used to pass him over. That song didn't just give him a hit, it gave him a moment, a real one. Here's where things got messy. The moment Just Got Paid blew up. It stopped being a blessing and started feeling more like a leash. The label saw dollar signs and basically said, cool, do that again. Over and over. Keep it cute, keep it bouncy, keep it simple. But Johnny, he wasn't trying to be a jukebox. He wanted to grow, try new things, throw in some jazz, write stuff with more depth, maybe even get a little weird with it. But they weren't trying to hear all that. To them, he was the Friday night guy. period. He dropped a couple more singles, Dancin' With Myself, Birthday Suit. They did okay, got spins, made a little noise, but nothing came close to the way that first one hit. And every time something didn't go nuclear, the label started side-eyeing, their faith slipping fast. Meanwhile, Johnny was getting real tired behind the scenes, not just of the numbers, but of being reduced to a formula. The label was only targeting R&B stations, not even trying to get him on pop playlists or push him past that one lane. He knew he had range. He believed he could reach a wider crowd if they just gave him a real shot. He looked at people like Tracy, who was out here singing folky, stripped-back stuff and still going platinum, or Terrence, blending soul, rock, pop, doing whatever he felt, and getting global love. Johnny wasn't trying to copy anybody. He just wanted the space to explore like they did. But back then, that kind of freedom wasn't being handed out to artists like him, especially not if you were black and already had an R&B hit. The second you tried to pivot, the industry started quietly icing you out. Doors that were wide open suddenly jammed shut.
And I think that a lot of people from the era have not been maybe as recognized as they should be, by the industry and, the people that...
Eventually, things with the label just faded out. No headlines, no drama, no long goodbye. One minute, Johnny was brushing shoulders with Grammy nominees. The next, it was like the industry hit mute on him. No warning, no explanation, just gone from the lineup. But he didn't ghost the music, he just moved quieter. Through the 90s, he stayed working. Studio sessions, songwriting gigs, live shows that didn't need a red carpet. He was out here doing jingles, performing at private events, whatever paid the bills and kept him close to the mic. He wasn't chasing attention or trying to reinvent himself every 5 seconds. He just kept doing what he did best, singing his heart out, wherever he could.
It's just unfortunate that, I have to teach myself, I have to really make an effort to really fall in love with music again.
Then the throwback wave hit. Suddenly, promoters were building whole tours around that New Jack Swing sound. And just like that, Johnny was back in rotation, sharing stages with old crew like Keith and Guy, getting booked for nostalgia nights where Just Got Paid still shut the place down. The song still had legs, still made people move like it just dropped yesterday. But here's the thing, it always circled back to that one track. Didn't matter how solid the set was or how good he sounded, the crowd came for the hit. The same hit that put him on was the one that boxed him in. Every show, every flyer, every intro, it was that song. And while other artists from that era were getting rediscovered, getting docs made, popping up in viral tweets, landing Netflix placements, Johnny wasn't in that loop. No big comeback moment, no re-release, no Gen Z fan base digging through his discography. Just a man, a mic, and a legacy that didn't need flashing lights to be real. And maybe that was the most honest part of it all. He didn't fake it, didn't chase clout, didn't shapeshift to stay trending. He just kept showing up, kept doing what he loved, kept being him. And for everyone who ever blasted that track on a payday or danced to it like the weekend depended on it, Johnny never left. He might not have gotten the second wave or the viral moment, but the memory still hits every single time. It was supposed to be another win. Johnny had been booked to perform on one of those all-out throwback cruises, packed with old-school icons, loyal fans, and enough black joy to last the whole trip. It was the perfect setup. He'd hit the stage, drop Just Got Paid, get everybody moving, and soak up the love like always. The kind of gig built for someone like him, but he never made it. His body was found floating off the shore in Jamaica. No big announcement, no warning, just silence, and a lot of questions. Word was, he had flown in early, not even boarded the cruise yet. Some people said he was walking alone near the rocks, might have slipped, hit his head, and that was it. No witnesses, no cameras, just rumors, confusion, and a sick feeling that something wasn't adding up. A rep came out and said it didn't happen on the ship. That was it. No follow-up, no investigation splashed across headlines. Just a couple statements, some sad tweets, and the story faded. A few artists posted tributes. Hammer, Miss Keir, even one of the NSYNC guys. But the industry, quiet. like eerily quiet. Meanwhile, fans were left piecing things together. Whispers started floating around. Maybe he was going through it. Maybe he wasn't getting the money he deserved off his biggest hit. Maybe he didn't even fully own the rights to it, which is crazy, considering how many times it got played, sampled, and covered. But there was no will in the headlines. No estate talk, just nothing. He left behind his wife and 2 sons. One of them, Jared, later got into acting. But the man who gave everyone their payday anthem, he exited far from the stage. No farewell, no moment, no proper goodbye. That's what stung. Johnny had a song that turned paychecks into celebrations, and yet his own exit felt like the industry barely noticed. And sadly, he's not the only one. There are so many stories like his, legends in plain sight, whose names fade faster than the beat they made famous. But real ones know. If you ever danced in your room, blasted that hook in your car, or started your weekend with that exact song, Johnny's still with you. Maybe he didn't get the send-off he earned, but the beat's eternal.